Howdy! Welcome to, I don't know, winging it bread making with all the fun stuff, messy kitchen included. So, we're gonna make bread the way that all bread should be made. First off, see if you actually have...
AKA bread for ADHD people who don't have the patience to measure.
That one. First, find a bowl that suits your needs. That looks good enough. Ooh.
Bonus points if it's shiny.
So shiny. I think there's something about metal interacting with yeast or whatever. Don't worry about that. That's only for technical people. Then you want to get water. You want it to be hot enough where it feels warm, but you want it to be cool enough
so it doesn't kill your yeasties before they can feast and make little bubbly bubbles that will make your bread delicious and rise.
Yeah, basically, you want it cool enough so it doesn't hurt. That won't kill your yeast. Then you gotta hope that you have yeast actually still in the fridge, which it's been a while since I used this.
And if you don't have yeast in the fridge, at least for us, we keep a larger bag dormant in the freezer, and it stays good. And then as needed, we have a smaller jar that we fill up on occasion. So, life hack?
Something like that. So the amount of water to put. It doesn't matter a whole lot. How much bread do you want? This is probably going to make probably about 3 loaves worth. It's maybe more than I want, but I'm going to do it anyways. Yeast. Yeah. Fill up your hand a little bit and just go. If you have too much yeast, well, it's just going to poof up faster. Whatever. Doesn't matter too much. If you have too little yeast, your bread won't be as foofy. Or it might just take longer. You might have to let it rise for more time. We're probably not going to bother with rising today because this is ADHD bread. Salt. That's the next thing. So, this I have forgotten on far too many occasions. You can have a wonderful... Stop laughing, I know you...
Okay, I'm sorry. It's true. Remember to salt your bread. Your bread will taste better with salt. Almost everything in cooking tastes better. Oh, bonus cat.
Well, basically, you can have a piece of loaf of bread come out, and it will look gorgeous, and you eat it, and you're like... You can redeem it somewhat if you do something like butter the bread with salty butter, and maybe mix a little bit of extra salt into the butter. Okay, so salt, number one most important thing. You pour it...
What is that, a tablespoon and a half?
We're not doing measuring in this here,
Okay, I'm just guesstimating because if you compare your hand to my hand, a handful is going to look a lot different.
Basically, you're just going to get used to how much salt. If you have too little salt, it'll just be a bit bland. If you have too much salt, that's bad. So better to do too little salt. You can always add more later if you need to. Speaking of which, I'm going to add a little bit more.
Did you mean to get out sugar or did you mean to get out flour?
No, I want sugar. So, you don't have to have sugar with bread. But it can give your yeast a little bit of a boost, and it can make the bread taste better. But I'm not going to use sugar. I'm going to use honey.
I was going to say, if I'm going to use one, I use...
This one's unopened. I'm going to go get an open honey. Except our open honey is caramelized or crystallized, so maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Doesn't matter because it's not a necessary ingredient. It's just.
And if you do have crystallized honey and you don't want it to crystallize, gently boil some water and then put the jar in it. Just let it sit in that. You can either do that stovetop or microwave.
How much you put just depends on how sweet you want your bread. If you put too much, it'll be sweet bread. If you put too little, it won't be very sweet bread. So, doesn't really matter. You can fail at this. Get the wrong amount of honey or sugar, and it doesn't make much difference. As long as you're not going for a specific target. If you have a really consistent, like, I want my bread to be the same way every time, don't listen to me. We're just making good bread. Oh, hey, ADHD brain. Start the oven preheating. It's a good idea. Now I'm getting the flour. I got it. Alright. Big old thing of flour.
Can you use bread flour? Yes, that is for fancy people. We use the Walmart brand Great Value. Oh, yeah.
All purposes.
Big budget bread here.
Including bread making. I pour a whole bunch and foop it. So, there's a lot of flour there. That is not going to be all the flour I want. But, I at least want enough to get all the water kind of soaked up. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, you gotta let the yeast rise. You got to leave it there and make it all bubbly and stuff. Yeah, forget it. It's still gonna grow even when there's flour in there. In fact, it eats the flour, so you're good. That's why you don't have to have sugar, because yeast needs something to eat. And if you don't add sugar, well, you gotta feed it something. And it's perfectly fine eating flour. Now, see, this is soupy. So, you add more flour. Now, you
Very technical process there.
You probably won't want to add as much flour at a time until you get used to how much will be needed. Just add a little bit at a time.
How much will be needed for bread?
Don't listen to my cameraman person, Pokemon, whatever you want to call her. So, I'm like, that's actually really close. Oh, important step. Don't leave the ring on when you're going to knead bread. We're doing this by hand. Now, I did already wash my hands before this. I should have probably showed you that first step. I also washed the countertop. Now, you see this texture here? This is kind of a little bit goopy and stretchy. That is more goopy than I want it to be. But you could bake the bread like this. It's fine. It's just really gross to deal with. But you could do it, and it actually probably will come out pretty good. But I'm going to add more flour. And I'll probably have to wash this off my hands because it's going to make things more annoying. Also, you can knead for a long time or stuff like that, or people will use bread mixers or bread machines. Oh, bread machines. You know who I'm talking about. You there who use bread machines.
I do not use a bread machine.
I'm not talking
a bread
about
maker?
You.
No.
I'm talking about, bread makers.
They work as long as you have a recipe that works with them.
I have tried one before, and I could never get it to work. And I went back to this random ADHD method, and you know what? My bread, most of the time, comes out. Every now and then, I forget the salt. Ooh, that's nice and warm. Oh, I forgot how nice it is making it with just white bread. Like, typically, I will try to do whole wheat or half whole wheat, just because it's healthier and stuff, but white bread is a lot more comfortable and less sticky and less annoying to knead. So I guess I could take it out of the bowl. You can flip it around in the bowl for a while, or you can take it out and just kind of give it some work.
And if it's sticky at this point, you will probably want to put down a generous amount of flour before you turn it out onto your surface.
Yeah, because you see, I'm already getting stuff stuck there. But my camera person, I don't want to be called camera person. Okay, Aaron is going to put flour there. Can I have some more flour? I'm going to put it on top of this thing. I want it a little bit, go ahead. I want it a little bit thicker, so a little bit more flour, just because, again, it's easier to work with. Look at there. All this is salt, yeast, flour, and water, and then I added honey because honey makes it awesome. I'm gonna grab this. Now, I'm grabbing this bag with nasty bread hands, and that's dumb. Doing it anyways. Because this is ADHD bread. Now, here's an important thing. One should always remember to get the bread pans ready in advance. So, being the great, amazing chef that I am, let's hope that I have bread pans. Aha! pan 1 and bread pan 2. And since this is about ADHD people who won't necessarily have bread pan, we're going to do bread pan 3. Alright, so, for the bread pans, and this is more like, probably going to be like 2.5 loaves rather than 3. We'll see.
You can also do rolls, you can do... We've done pizza crust this way before. You just cook it.
Now, if you were trying to make really tasty bread, which I'm just doing quick bread, you would actually let this rise for like half an hour, depending on how warm it is, depending how much yeast. You watch it, and if it gets a little big and poofy, great. Look at that. Lovely. And then, ooh, do I even want to bother with that other bread pan?
Could just make an extra tall loaf.
I'm just going to do this.
It's your baby bread.
Yeah.
Wing.
So look, I can use this to make buns. You see here, people? Now if it gets too sticky, you just thump it on some of the flour, and look, it's less sticky now. Amazing. Thunk. It doesn't have to be fancy. Fancy bread is for rich people and boring people and people who actually take time to do things properly. Instead, we're going to do our thump bread, which, honestly, that's more than I want for the thumping. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to make this loaf a little smaller. Boop! We're going to split it up. So we're going to do 2 loaves here. And now, these are kind of tiny. And giving them a chance to rise, again, makes so much sense. It will taste a lot better. I'm torn, but I'm not going to do it. Now, you can do other fancy things here. Like, you can paint it with oil across the top to make it get a more golden niceness. Or even
some people do egg, too.
Yeah, you could do egg.
You can do a knife and do little, like, crosshatch patterns.
You know what? Maybe I will paint it with egg, because ADHD, if you think about something, you just do it. So, I grab an egg. This is a non-essential
Is it
step.
whole egg or egg white? I don't remember.
I'm going to do egg yellow.
Egg yolk?
Get the... Excuse me? We're calling it egg yellow today.
Oh, I'm
now,
sorry.
You could use
egg yellow.
A much better method than this of actually like getting a brush. But you know what I'm doing?
ADHD bread?
ADHD bread. I'm just going to grab this yolk and kind of paint it on a little bit. Will this look good? I don't know. It sounds like a good idea. I think egg whites are used sometimes or whatever, but I'm using egg yolk because it will give a more golden-y color. There you go. Pretty. And we're going to do one of these with...
Does not look at all like a baby Ronald McDonald vomited mustard on them. Not at all.
You know what? I didn't quite drop that. Ah, dang it. Nope. No egg white. I was going to try a bit with egg white.
Just to see?
Just to see.
For the grand experiment?
Oh, no. Okay, so. Washing the egg off my hands. Oh. Feels good to wash my hands after getting all that slimy on it.
Oven beeped.
That means it's preheated.
Is 350 what you want?
Yeah.
Cool.
You can... 350 is a good amount. Most ovens kind of count that as the default, if they even have a default. Depending on the size of stuff, well, don't bother. This is easy bread. Just do 350. Now these are very small loaves. Normally I do something like 35 minutes. These are really tiny though. These are not going to turn out gorgeous. See how the tops are kind of like wrinkly and stuff? Oh, they're still going to be wrinkly. I don't care. We're making easy bread. So, this thing is in here. And we're going to try giving it 20 minutes. If you overcook your bread, it'll just be drier and harder. If you undercook your bread, it will beat you.
But if you find your bread's undercooked, you stick it in for longer. Will it be as pretty? No, but while you're learning, give yourself time to figure out your oven and your cooking time.
Basically, keep the cat off the counter too.
The cat is displeased by this notion. He is also displeased by the camera in his face. He will now try to walk off with any dignity he has remaining.
This is the internet. We got a cat on camera. Sweet extra views. Anyways, I guess I should stop the video for now. Back to the ADHD bread making. We hear that sound. Very obnoxious sound. Means get the bread out before you die. All right, this was 20 minutes. Looks. We're gonna check. I'm gonna leave the other one in there for a moment. So, there's ways to like poke it in, see if it comes out clean and stuff. From my experience, everyone always is like, how do you tell if it's clean? Because it's kind of wet, but it's not. So, that's the fancy way to do it. If you really want to know, just ruin the bread by cutting it in half. And then like peeking at it and, oh, that looks really doughy in the middle. We're going to do another 10 minutes.
Please join us after this 1 minute interlude.
Okay, so we forgot to set the timer again on
this
bread.
Has truly been christened ADHD bread.
This is how you make ADHD bread. As I said, though, undercooked, that's bad. You don't want undercooked. Undercooked bread is gross. Overcooked bread is just not that pleasant. So, I'm going to grab a cutting board.
So the egg yolk did turn out kind of golden.
That it is. Oh, also, a good cook always cleans their working space as they go along. ADHD bread, after all. The kitchen will clean itself. There's magical fairies that come and clean afterwards. But they can't clean while there's videos recording for some reason.
Wonder why that is.
I don't know. It's just like...
hey, they're Fae. Are you really going to mess with the rules of the Fae?
That's true. Oh, also, ADHD thing, too. I still have these. Gotta stick those in.
Would help if you turned it back on. How long?
I'm gonna put these in for 20 minutes. Hopefully that's not too much for those little things, but
worst case scenario, we smell them before the timer goes off.
First off, that looks pretty.
Yeah.
Another thing that you can do to make it even prettier is you take some butter and like paint it on there while it's still hot and it kind of melts. So you can even like take the stick and just, you know what? I should show you how to do that. Non-essential step. So you just take a cold stick of butter. This is the manly way to do it. You just rub it around. Oh yeah. This is the one we cut open, by the way, and it kind of flattened.
But still edible bread. And since you've already cut it open, if you had any doubts about whether you had long enough, you can most definitely peel it open.
And let's see, kind of a weird texture there, but ow! Yeah, it's probably fine.
Definitely looks cooked. Snitch. What? Huh? Snitching bread? No one would snitch bread around here.
How eatable is it?
It's pretty good. I would have put more salt.
Yeah, I was going on the low side just to... I was costing anything. Definitely needed more salt. Anyways, let's slice a slice. I'm going to show you...
Your bread knife's over here, isn't it? Yeah, your bread knife's in here, John.
Both of them?
John.
I got this bread knife.
Oh, okay.
This is the better knife. We're going to get a nice kind of almost centerpiece here.
Are you okay? Did you cut yourself?
No, I burned myself. Well, it's hot. You know, if you were doing this right, you would actually give it like 15 minutes to
John,
sit.
it's ADHD bread.
But this is ADHD
Seafood,
bread.
eat bread.
Now, you know what?
Ooh,
We're going to put some butter on that little flaky bit. Look at that texture. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Would also be good with some jam. A little bit of butter and cinnamon. You can turn them into toast. You can turn them into sides for soup. And as long as you have the room to store the ingredients and the time to make it, it's a pretty cost-effective snack food.
Oh, yeah, there's a bit of butter. And this is how real people cook. All those cooking shows, all like, oh, let's get this ingredient perfectly measured. It's going to be so wonderful. Yeah, they're better cooks than me. They're better cooks than you, too, most likely. So, that is delicious. Lauren?
I had a piece, but thank you.
All right. Peace out. Bonus scene. Just cleaning up a little bit of the space here. We
should get the eggs put away.
Yeah, it's alright. I'll get them. We're gonna make some cinnamon bread out of this. Oh yeah. Cinnamon toast bread. So I guess maybe just cinnamon toast.
Oven edition, though. Although our oven's kind of in use right now. That'll be fine, right? Since we have 2 racks.
We have 2 ovens.
We do.
I'm gonna use the other oven. Okay, so this is a wonderful tasty you can do.
What temp?
With ADHD bread. Not temp. Broil.
Broil.
You take your ADHD bread, you pile it on the thingy, and cameraman, I don't know what angles you were doing right then, but I don't think they were looking at me. You pile on the ADHD bread, you get your butter. By the way, this is fake butter. This is like cheapest margarine stuff there is. Is real butter better? Absolutely. But if you ain't rich, you do what you gotta do. Real butter makes a much better texture with this, though. The way it melts is, oh, yeah. But, yeah. All right. Here we go. So you got some butter in there. You take your cinnamon sugar, which anytime I make cinnamon sugar, I make extra because it's annoying to make cinnamon sugar. So I just make extra, put it in like a Old Spice container. And now I have a sprinkle of cinnamon sugar. If you want to know the ratios for mixing cinnamon sugar, too bad. I'm not going to tell you. You do it till it tastes good.
It's definitely not because he's ADHD and he's forgotten and just does it from scratch every time to taste.
Yeah. I don't know a ratio. I just pour it until it looks good. Go for that color. You know, that's a good color. Put in a bunch of sugar and then keep adding cinnamon and shaking it up until it gets to that color. All right. You know what? I'm going to put it on a bit heavier because if it's heavier, it gets more meltiness.
There's such thing as too much.
It's sugar. 100% sugar. Still good. Oh, cinnamon sugar. Except I got my eye.
Not too much, unless it gets in your eye.
Okay. Oven set to broil.
Now, this is one of the most difficult ADHD moves. You know why?
Oh.
You walk away from it, and then it burns.
Okay. This is the most important rule of making ADHD cinnamon toast. Alexa, set a 3-minute timer.
3 minutes, starting now.
You do not leave this kitchen for 3 minutes. That thing will beep. You do not forget why that's going to beep. If you need 2 timers, you get 2 timers. 3 minutes. You might need more, but set it to 3 minutes, trust me. If you need more, don't do another 3 minutes. Do another 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes, and never skip the timer, even if it's only for 1 minute. The camera person is laughing from experience of living with an ADHD person. So, for the next 3 minutes, I'm going to clean. I don't know, should we keep this on camera until it's done, or just wait? We could do movie magic. Although ADHD people, it is hard to wait. So let's make him wait. Since I have to stand here anyways, might as well go ahead and clean things.
What's the proprietary blend there you using? Got any,
Oh.
Viney gar.
It
What
stinks
mystical...
like hell. If you don't like it, you can just use what, you know how to clean. If you don't know how to clean, Google it. This smells better.
Yes, it does. You can edit that part out. Just edit out the entire cleaning montage, and it'll be fine.
I didn't want to edit this video. The plan wasn't to edit this video.
Okay, wait, but it's a bonus episode. So remember, cinnamon toast is sweet.
I'm going to just
It's
add...
sweet?
Okay, so this part that we just cut out is because of the camera. So that's why you have a cut. It's not movie magic. There's still... Alexa, how much time is left?
You have 40 seconds left on your 3 minutes.
Okay, we cut out maybe 30 seconds. I don't know. Not a lot. Now, when it comes down to it, I do get annoyed at all these cooking shows. They make beautiful food. It's lovely and wonderful. And then they do things like say, only use fresh herbs. And then they have like 10 dishes. Like, I got a whole little dish for my already measured out salt. And a whole little dish for my already nicely chopped fresh parsley. And a whole little dish for this. Alexa, stop. Don't tell that timer to stop until you're actually opening the thing. I kind of made a mistake there. Ooh. That's looking pretty good. You think one more minute or just pull it out?
Up to you, but 1 more minute only if you're going to do one more.
1 more minute. Alexa, 1 minute timer.
1 minute. Starting now.
So anyways, they have all these fancy ingredients and all these special ways to make it good, and then it all takes hours of work. That doesn't work for most people. What works for most people is ADHD bread. So, waiting for a whole minute. Good thing I have a camera to entertain me. Hi camera person. What do we do for a whole minute without anything to cook?
Make it
more
look...
bread. I'm glad I added the egg on the top. Not necessary, but man, it makes that crunch just nice. Should you keep opening it up and looking at it? Well, actually with broil, you can leave it cracked. Alexa, stop. Because with broil, it's not about the heat that the oven gets in it, it's about the direct radiation from the heater. Oven mitts, trick for wise people.
Oh.
I have to cut this part out too.
Sorry.
I have a hook on the fridge where I hang these because if I don't have them right there, I won't get to them in time because I won't prepare them in advance. So, anyways, there's our cinnamon bread. I'm going to... Okay. Pot holder. Pot holder. It is my pot. That is a holder. So, you get this. Oh, yeah. That's our fresh bread with some melty cinnamon sugar on it. Pretty good. No cameraman right now. Just gonna pull these out. Looking good. See, there's the difference between having the egg yolk and not having the egg yolk. They're still fine, but yeah, makes it better. Anyways, that's all, folks.